Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show, Sunday, June 20th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mac with you, ready to break down the Sunday MLB card. Hopefully, if you're a dad out there, we wish you a happy Father's Day, by the way. You are enjoying your day. We hope you enjoy a little baseball, maybe place a couple of bets. Definitely hope you do that. And hopefully, we can help you in that regard with a couple of winning wagers today. Sunday, you never know for me. I mean, we're talking about a day that's been not good for me until last week, where we finally got off the schneid and had a really, really good Sunday for the first time this season. So I was due. Hopefully we can turn it into two good Sundays for this guy in a row in MLB. We'll start with the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. Hyunjin Ryu on the mound for the Jays, Matt Harvey for the Orioles. We got the Blue Jays in that minus 180, minus 190 range, road favorites, 10.5 the total in this game. What a rally by the Jays. Unfortunately, didn't do me too much good because I had them in the first five yesterday in that game. But they come back against that suspect Orioles bullpen and get the job done. I'll tell you what, this Toronto team was looking like they were a deer in the headlights kind of look in the clubhouse when they were down, 7-4 in this game. Another loss. We're about to lose two in a row to the Baltimore Orioles. Nothing's going right. The bullpen stinks for us. And all of a sudden, they get that ninth inning comeback, and they snap this, whatever it was, I think 6 or 7 game losing streak the Jays had going into yesterday. I got to look at that as a pep in their step, momentum builder for them. That kind of win to bounce back the way they did in the ninth inning, come back, win a game that they looked like they were going to lose. They finally snapped the losing streak. They're feeling good again coming to the ballpark today. I think they ride that wave going into today. And certainly Matt Harvey is a pathetic pitcher once again. There's nothing to sugarcoat here. He's been brutal. He's been terrible. He's been awful, hideous. Whatever word you want to use in the dictionary or the thesaurus, you can use it to describe Matt Harvey right now. He's been awful. The Jays should get to him. Hyunjin Ryu has struggled. There's no question. And Baltimore does hit lefties pretty good. And look, they're hitting not pretty good right now, especially at home. So that is a concern. Maybe you could go over this total. But I think Ryu will settle down and pitch better here. He has dominated Baltimore in the past. You look at last year, less than 1 ERA in 2 starts against them, and his ERA lifetime against them is just under 3. So he really has dominated this team. I think this could be a get-well spot for Ryu to bounce back and have a good outing on the mound. So I'm going to do Jays first 5 again, but I'm also going to do a little run line here. I think this is after coming back yesterday, I think they're going to get out in front early today, and I also think they're going to whip them late as well in this game. And I think you're going to see this Jays team play with a lot more piano off the back mentality after getting a much needed, desperately needed win yesterday. So I think the Jays first 5 and a Jays run line. Jays team total over. I think that's probably on the board because I've been going against Harvey with these team totals lately as well. I had Cleveland team total over against Matt Harvey in his last start. So I'll probably go to the well with that as well. So this could be a 3 bets on the Blue Jays spot for me. First 5 full game run line. And then the team total as well. What do you think here, Connor? Jays, Orioles?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. I think I'd be on the Jays first 5 or run line. I think this total could get over 2. I like your team total, but at minus 135 over 5.5. I always talk about those 5.5s. Like you always say, you should get 6 runs off Harvey, this Blue Jays team. But, I mean, that was a huge win late. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in them early. Manoah got the strikeout prop that I played, but I don't know if you did too. You got ejected. Yeah, they looked dejected by the end, but They scored a 6 spot in the 9th. Yeah, I'd only be on the Jays. I don't want Harvey here. I know the Orioles hit lefties a little bit, but like you said, Ryu's got decent numbers, and I'm looking at him right now against him. I'd only be on the Jays here.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, 7.76 ERA for Matt Harvey. I mean, it has just been awful for him, just beyond bad. And probably his days numbered in this rotation, but I've been saying that for a couple of starts now, and they still trot him out.
They don't have a whole lot of people.
They don't have a whole lot.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of options. They don't have a lot of substitutes at this point. By the way, Cedric Mullins, you can't get this guy out apparently right now for Baltimore. This leadoff hitter, he has been outstanding for them lately. Total bases and home run props. I don't even care about the numbers in the past against Ryu. You got to look that way. I mean, he is just absolutely ridiculous at the moment for the Baltimore Orioles. So Cedric Mullins. He's turned into a really good player for them. Someone they can look with positive optimism toward for the future. Oakland Athletics, New York Yankees. We got a battle of lefties here, Manaea and Montgomery on the mound in this matchup here. We've got the Yankees minus 145, minus 150, home favorites, 9.5 the total in this game. You've got Manaea on the mound for the Oakland Athletics. Obviously the Yankees snapped the Oakland 7-game win streak snapped yesterday by the Yankees, who evened up the series with the 7-5 victory. Much needed win for them. They had been struggling. Manaea on the mound. He has given up 1 run or less in 5 straight starts, 0.84 ERA during that span. I'm on Oakland here. First 5 full game. This guy's on fire right now. He's feeling it. Sean Manaea has been absolutely terrific. 3.65 ERA in his lifetime against the Yankees, so not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. And by the way, Manaea has not allowed an earned run in 12 innings at Yankee Stadium. Think about that. 12 innings at Yankee Stadium pitched by Sean Manaea for Oakland, hasn't given up an earned run in 12 innings. That's dominance there. And Montgomery, on the other hand, he's up and down. He's erratic, 4.2 ERA. Gave up 5 runs, 4 walks, 5.1 innings, labored through that last start for the Yankees against the Blue Jays on Tuesday. He has pitched well at home. So that's the one thing he's got going for him. He's got a nice ERA of 2.75 at Yankee Stadium this season, but still, this is an Oakland spot and an Oakland price for sure. I mean, with Manaea pitching like he is, the fact he's not given up a run in the last 12 innings at Yankee Stadium, Oakland's still 7-1 in their last 8 games, even after having the win streak snapped yesterday. Yankees, you still can't trust them one game to the next. This is Oakland for me. First 5 full game split. A very good plus price. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, I think there's good value on the A's. They jumped out early on the Yankees, kind of gave it up there. Yankees battled back, scored runs late to win that game. One thing, Montgomery has been better at home. This is a difficult one. I don't know. I think it'd get over, but these guys could pitch well. And Manaea's pitched really well lately, like you're talking about. I lean the A's at the plus price. The only guys that hit Manaea, the only guy really is Judge, 3 for 7, small sample size with a homer. Other than that, yeah, he's got pretty good numbers here. I lean the A's here. I haven't bet it yet, but I lean them up almost 140, I see. So.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next up, we've got the Mets and the Nationals, Taijuan Walker, Patrick Corbin, the pitching matchup here in this one. We've got the right now it looks like Washington, even money, both sides here, Mets and Nationals, 8.5 the total in this game. This would be a first 5 under for me in this game here with the Mets and the Nationals. Neither team's really hitting the baseball right now. We've talked about this now for a couple of days with these 2 teams, not consistently anyway. And you look at it, the Nationals are 8-2 to the under their last 10, 7-3 to the under for the Mets in their last 10 games. Patrick Corbin coming off an outstanding start in his last outing, 1 run in 8.1 innings. He almost pitched a complete game in that start. So he was absolutely fantastic. Taijuan Walker, on the other hand, was excellent as well in his last outing, 7 scoreless innings against the Nationals. Now, you always get concerned a little when, you dominate the team earlier in the week and you're facing that same team again, just a few days later. Sometimes that's not always a good under spot. Sometimes you see, runs come back and the adjustments get made by the lineups when they get shut down by that pitcher and they're facing that same guy in less than a week. I've seen that happen a bunch. But the fact remains these 2 lineups are sketchy. They're not, you cannot rely on them consistently to hit day in and day out, especially good pitching. And look, Corbin had a good start last time. So did Walker. So I would lean with the first 5 under here. What do you think, C-Mac, with Mets Nats?
Yeah, you know what? I thought about that right away, and I'm pumping the brakes a little bit. I think the full game under at 8.5 might be good to get in the pens. Corbin's gotten hit pretty hard by these Mets. The different Mets line up a little bit, but Alonso's in there, Peraza, even Lindor, Pilar, those guys, McCann, 2 for 4, 2 for 9, 2 for 8. But Peraza, 7 for 14. Villar, 10 for 21. Alonso, 7 for 24 with a couple homers. And on the other side, the Nats actually are okay against Walker. I like Walker here. I'd only be on the Mets, and I'd look under full game a little bit. I'd like to get to the pen. Just the numbers against Corbin are pretty outstanding here by the Mets. Can you trust the Mets to score on a day-to-day basis? It's tough. So yeah, the full game 8.5 minus 105. I'm leaning that way, and the Mets.
Yeah, it is tough. There's no question. It's these two lineups are like we say. We've seen it so many times that even with mediocre pitching on the mound, they can get shut down. We'll see how they fare here against two guys that are coming off great starts: Sam Hentges and JT
Yeah.
Brubaker. We've got the next ones: Cleveland and Pittsburgh. The Pirates here getting some love in this game. We're talking about Pittsburgh in the -145 favorite range. You don't see that every day. The totals dropped like a stone, 9 down to 8, and the Pirates, looking to sweep Cleveland here this weekend. How about you talk about improbable turn of events? That would be this: the fact that Pittsburgh might have a chance to sweep any team, let alone a Cleveland team that is having a solid season at 38-30. But here we are. There's a reason though that the Cleveland Indians are struggling right now. We're talking about a team that's a little bit banged up. We've talked about it yesterday. Luplo and Reyes and Jose Ramirez all banged up in this lineup, and I think took its toll. They get held to 3 runs by Will Crow yesterday. That's nothing to write home about. So they're a little bit banged up. That's a bit of a concern here going into the start. And we got Brubaker on the mound here for the Pirates. He's had a decent season overall. He's kind of regressed a little bit. Like the last 3 to 4 starts, he hasn't been as good. But on Monday, 2 runs, 4 hits, 5 innings against Washington. Did pitch better in that start. Brubaker, though, had 2 starts against Cleveland last year, 9 ERA. Got really, really roughed up by this team. So this is definitely a Cleveland spot. I could only look to Cleveland at the price. They're a good team. They're trying to avoid an embarrassing sweep at the hands of Pittsburgh. But I don't trust Hentges at all. He has not been good. 7.57 ERA. I don't know if this lineup's going to be at full strength. So it's a clear stay off this game type of spot for me. What do you think, Seamak?
Yeah, I'm off this one as well. Brubaker is usually one of the guys I like to go to with the Pirates when I bet on them. But now at -145, I don't love it. I kind of lean the first 5 under 4.5. You can get it -115, -120. I think Brubaker will be pretty good here at home, but I'm not going to play. It's just a lean.
All right, next game on the slate here, we've got Boston and Kansas City. Nathan Eovaldi, Mike Minor, pitching matchup here. Boston road favorites here in that -120 range, I guess you could say. The total 9.5 in this one. This is cheap, man. To me, Boston's the much better team. I know Kansas City, is reeling right now. Absolutely real. I know they won the first game of the series, but Boston trounced them yesterday. Nathan Eovaldi on the mound, 3.76 ERA, is coming off a gem. I thought he pitched an outstanding game in his last start against the Jays. I think he can keep it going here against this Royals team. Mike Minor on the mound, 4.63 ERA. No great shakes for him whatsoever. You look at track records against the Red Sox, and you've got some guys that have done some significant damage here against Mike Minor. JD Martinez, 7 for 12 and a home run. He's on the Jack of the Day list for sure. No question about that for the Boston Red Sox taking him on. You've got a deplorable, awful, brutal Kansas City bullpen. I think that's the best way to go. So that's why, for that reason, I'm going to end up going Boston. I think I'm going to put everything on the full game with this one. Usually, I like those first 5 and full game splits. While I think Eovaldi's got the edge over Minor, the Boston bullpen definitely has an edge over Kansas City's bullpen. Kansas City has been one of the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball, I would say, for the last week to 10 days or even 2 weeks now. That's how bad it's been for them. So to me, this looks like a cheap price. Boston Red Sox, very, very modest number and price here as small road favorites here. What do you think here, C-Mac? Red Sox, Royals?
Yeah, we'll see. Eovaldi's coming off that good start against the Blue Jays. I'd only be them. Yesterday, I stayed off the Red Sox, and I was kicking myself, and I didn't take the over in that game, and it stayed under. I just stayed off the game all around. I'm going to go be on the over here, 9.5. One thing you mentioned about the sticks, other than JD Martinez, he's got really good numbers. Minor does against the Red Sox. The rest, some of these guys. Devers is 1 for 10. Bogart's 2 for 11. Kike 0 for 4, Vasquez 1 for 5. You'd think they'd hit him a little bit better, but I still see runs here. I just don't trust Minor. I know he's been proving me wrong. He's been shoving it to me a little bit here this year. Mike Minor back on the train. comeback player or something this year. But and I can't trust. I don't think Eovaldi pitches that well. I know this Royals team's banged up. Benintendi's out of the lineup, and it's been tough for them to score runs. But I still lean over 9.5 here and the Sox.
All right, I'll lean in the over as well here in this game. I feel safer with Boston team total, but I understand liking the over. I like Boston here first 5, a little bit on the first 5, most of it on the full game. Most of it is going to be on the full game though, because the Red Sox do have a better bullpen than the Royals. Although the Red Sox bullpen struggled a little bit lately too, but the Royals has just been awful. By the way, last 10 games. Royals against right-handed pitching, only 231 as a team and 2.84 runs per game. That's not very good. And then Boston against lefties, 274, 5.88 runs per game against lefties the last 10 games. So you look at the shorter term, Royals ain't hitting righties too well. Red Sox are hitting lefties well. So another thing that adds up here toward Boston in this one. White Sox and Astros, Dallas Keuchel and Lance McCullers pitching matchup here. Houston about minus 145, minus 150 home favorites, 8.5 the total in this one. Lance McCullers has been he's been very, very good this year for the Houston. I shouldn't say I'm shocked by that. He is capable, Connor, of being a really, really good pitcher. I just didn't know if I saw him being this good this season. 2.89 ERA, came back from the injured list, pitched 4.1 innings against Texas on Tuesday. 2 runs, 3 hits, 3 walks. It wasn't a great start for him by any stretch, but he still has a 1.98 ERA over his last 6. Very good numbers in his career against the White Sox. And then on the flip side, you got Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the White Sox, 3.21 ERA in his last 8 starts. So he's been very, very good. He's allowed just 3 runs in 19 innings this month. So he's been absolutely terrific. We'll see if he can keep it going here today against this Astros team. It is still always a concern with a guy like Keuchel because he's in great form, but Astros really do hit lefties quite well. So keep that in mind going into this outing. Maybe if the Astros can do some damage. They haven't been hitting lefties as well lately, actually, though. Last 10 games for the Astros, 214, 5.21. That's a little bit of a drop from what they've done for the entire season, against left-handed pitching. So be careful with that. So this is really one of those games I'm going all around here. White Sox, Astros, over, under. I could honestly make a case for all 4 of those spots, to be honest with you, in this game. So it's probably a game I'm going to end up staying off here. Houston has definitely taken it to this White Sox team so far in this series. So from a spot perspective, you got the White Sox trying to salvage a game here right now in this series. What do you think here, C-Mac, White Sox, Astros?
Yeah, an interesting one. McCullers came off the IL and pitched well his last start. I was a little worried about it, but he was good. He didn't go 5 innings, but he was good. I just worry about him getting touched. He's pitched so well this year. And on the other side, Keuchel has 2, 6-1, 3.78 ERA. He seems lately just been getting out of jams. I'm always a little bit leery of him. We went over yesterday. Like you said, I could see the White Sox winning here. Astros over, under. I go back to the first 5 under, 4.5, minus 110. I think there's a little bit low scoring early. We'll maybe get some runs late. But that's just a lean so far.
All right, St. Louis and Atlanta, first of a day-night Father's Day doubleheader between these two teams today. We got Adam Wainwright, Bryce Wilson in the first game. Right now, Atlanta currently minus 130 home favorites, 7.5 the total. I'm off the game. Like I say, I think Wainwright on the road, I'd rather bet against him. I think Atlanta can score runs. But can I get St. Louis to help me out here? I mean, this team now, maybe the off day, they reset their brains a little bit, relax, just relax, take it easy, calm down, get rewired, get refocused. And maybe they come out and start swinging the bats again, but I'm going to have to see it before I believe it. This team's been awful, just absolutely garbage offensively for the last 7 games or so. You know what the numbers are for St. Louis in their last 7 games? 2-0-4, 2-1-0-1 in terms of runs scored. 4 is the high water mark for this Cardinals lineup in the last 7 games. So I can't trust them to hit right now until I see it. This is an in-game bet for me. If I see them having good swings and good approach, and they got some guys on base and they're mounting a rally against Wilson, early in the game, then I'm probably going to jump on the over in game because I think the Braves will hit Wainwright a bit. And I think if I see signs that St. Louis can do something at the plate early in the game against Bryce Wilson today, then maybe I'll hop on a live over because I do lean to the over before the game. But I got to see evidence of St. Louis getting their shit together at the plate because it's been embarrassing to see the lack of offense and the lack of quality at bats we're seeing from this team for the last 7 games. So the lean is over. More than anything, I'll look at a live in-game over if I see this team is actually getting some things done and threatening against Bryce Wilson. What's your thoughts here? First of the two double header between St. Louis and Atlanta.
Yeah, me and the doubleheader, I'm off, but I'm going to probably make a small bet. I just don't trust Wainwright on the road. He's had a little success against these Braves, but I lean the Braves team total over 3.5, minus 115. I think they can get a few off Wainwright. I just don't trust him on the road. I can't trust Wilson, so I just lean to the team total here over 3.5.
Well, if you're betting over 3.5 Braves team total, you're 5-0 to that in the last 5 games for Atlanta because they've scored 6, 8, 8, 4, 9. They've cleared 3.5 runs
stay
in
hot.
5 straight games. So we'll see. Hopefully they stay hot. Sometimes that day off, unexpectedly with the postponement yesterday, throws off the rhythm a little bit. So hopefully that's not the case for that Atlanta lineup. But I see what you mean. I'm interested in that bet.
The splits are crazy. His road to home, but he's got good numbers, pretty good numbers against these Braves.
Yeah, we'll see if it carries over to this game here. I believe the second game of the doubleheader. Yeah, the night game is Sunday Night Baseball. So the Sunday Night Baseball game is the second game of this Cardinals Braves doubleheader. Miami and Chicago Cubs. Zach Thompson, Alec Mills, the pitching matchup here in this one. We've got the Cubs around minus 150 home favorites, 9.5 the total in this one. Boy, oh boy, the Cubs get absolutely waylaid by the Miami Marlins yesterday in that game, 11-1, and they got crushed the night before too, 10-2. Zach Davies, who's been one of their better pitchers lately, got crushed. Jake Arrieta, who has not been one of their better pitchers, got crushed yesterday against the Miami Marlins. Absolutely brutal for the Cubs. The first 2 games, 21-3 in the first 2 games of this series for the Miami Marlins. That's a football score. Miami Marlins have 3 touchdowns in the first 2 games. The Cubs have a field goal. That's what we're looking at here with these 2 teams so far. So it's one of those games, Connor, where it's so tempting to take Miami again because Alec Mills is nothing to write home about. 6.11 ERA. That's no good. He's not any good. He's just a fringe arm at best. That's all he is. I don't trust him one bit. It is one of those spots, though. You do have a team that usually plays well at home. They haven't played well at home in this series, but they have a good home record. They're trying to avoid an embarrassing sweep to the Miami Marlins. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Cubs win, but there's no way in hell I'm laying this price with them as a favorite. And the question is Zach Thompson. His ERA is good, Connor, but there's some worrisome FIP peripherals that say his FIP should be around 4.8. So it looks like, he's kind of getting lucky. He's kind of over pitching what his true numbers say. So probably going to stay off this game. But even though you don't like betting against these good teams off the trying to avoid a sweep on their home field, the price is just, to me, a little bit off. And I could only look at Miami at this current price, first 5 in full game. That would be the lean from me. Connor, what do you think here? Marlins, Cubs?
Yeah, after 2 losses, you got to look to the Cubs. It's just Mills at almost minus 160. You gotta pay the price here to bet on them. I lean that way. You have the win there at Wrigley. Is it still like blowing out a little bit? That's what I saw early.
I'm just taking a little left to right. It looks like it's a left to right win today, so not fully out.
Yeah, I think we could see some runs maybe. This is a difficult one. Like when I first started, can Thompson pitch well? He's pitched really well, like you talked about, but will he come back to the means? Rookie guy. He hasn't pitched since June 12th. And Mills is nothing great. He gave up 3 runs in 4 1/3 against the Mets the other day. I was looking at the first 5 under 5, but I just don't know if I could trust these guys.
Marlins team total over might be an option. But again, keep an eye on the Marlins lineup. Keep an eye on the Marlins lineup. It's a day game. They've won the first 2 games. I believe they're going home after this series, back home to Marlins Park. And sometimes they give guys the day off in a spot like this. So I want to make sure I see Marte and Duvall and Chisholm and
Oh my
Rojas and
God,
these
Duvall.
Aguilar, the big bats that have been doing well in this series for sure. I want to make sure they're in the lineup. They're not rested because if it's full, all systems go, and they have a full lineup, I'd be interested at least in the Marlins team total over. I'd be interested in that for sure. Minnesota, Texas, Kenta Maeda and Dane Dunning, the pitching matchup here. We've got Minnesota slight road chalk here, -1. Actually, it's pretty much now down to even money, both sides here in this one. The total 8.5 in this game. Shame on me for thinking Texas could actually hit a lousy pitcher. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. Randy Dobnak, of all people, absolutely, absolutely terrible all season, and yet he figures out a way to quiet down the Texas Rangers yesterday. Texas has now lost 5 in a row. They lose 3-2 to the Twins yesterday. Minnesota's now won 3 in a row, sending Kenta Maeda to the mound. And we know Maeda's had a rough season overall. It'll be a second start for the Twins after being out for 3 weeks on the injured list with not only 2 different injuries, right abductor strain and right arm soreness. So he's had a little bit of everything here for the Twins. He pitched against the Mariners on Monday. Not bad. 1 run, 3 hits, 4 innings. They definitely made sure they kept his pitch limit and innings limit in check. Will he be stretched out a little bit more here? We'll have to wait and see. Dane Dunning on the mound for Texas, 4.57 ERA. He's really becoming one of those tougher guys to get a good grip on because Dane Dunning's had some really good starts and he's had some really terrible starts. Most of the worst starts have been on the road. At least here at home, he's been a little bit better, much better. 1.97 ERA for him here, pitching at Globe Life Stadium in Texas. So he's definitely had better numbers. The numbers point me, at least in the first 5, to Texas. They do, because I don't trust Maeda fully, but this team's just can't get out of their own way. They find ways to lose. I can't say I'm rushing to the back Texas, and I think I'd need a little more value. We're talking even money right now with this team, which to me, I'd want a plus price tag if I'm going to back them here. So the lean is Texas first 5, but I was involved in this game, and it was the one game yesterday. I had a good day yesterday, but this was the one game that did not treat me well, and I'm not in a rush to get involved in another Twins-Rangers game today. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, I had the over, just that, and yeah, it makes me not want to get involved, but I think there's value with Dunning. Yeah, I wish it was a little bit more. I got one plus 110 first 5, and maybe just go full game plus 116. I think there's a little advantage, and he's pitched well against the Twins. They don't have good numbers. None of the Twins have more than 10 at bats, but a lot of 0 for 8s, 1 for 7, stuff like that. Maeda, he pitched well against his last start against Seattle, but he's got these arm troubles here. He's got a 5 ERA. I'm leaning to the dog Rangers here today.
All right. Yeah. Let's say hello to some people in the chat because it is a big chat.
Yeah.
We're approaching 200 live viewers. We appreciate it. Hit the like button. Please hit that like button. We appreciate it. It is big for the channel, for the show. It helps us out. We've got David Sharpe. By the way, we're happy to announce, and I didn't mention this to Connor before the show started today. We're happy to announce that David Sharpe's going to be a regular guest on this show every Saturday moving forward. So we're looking forward to that. David Sharpe's good when it comes to MLB. Everybody knows him as Sharpie in the chat, so excited about that. He'll be because we already have Ski on Mondays. We have Jose Bouquet Tuesdays and Thursdays, so we're gonna add another special guest to the rotation here. Sharpie every Saturday right here on the Closing Time show. So good stuff there. He was on yesterday with us, did a great job. Great with the strikeout props as well. Manoah got there. That's all that matters yesterday before he got ejected. But that was a joke, by the way. Absolute joke of an ejection. How the fuck do these guys know that he was intentionally throwing at him? Like, how the hell do they know that? Are they the psychic? Are they Miss Cleo? Come on. I mean, you can't throw a guy out for that kind of reason. I thought it was ridiculous. But let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Jimmy Gomez, Trotwam, Sharpie, Not Applicable, Christian Larson, Anthony Witherspoon, Terry Edelman, Let's Go Wild Picks, Rob McMahon, Razor Sharp, Jay Stone, Fap Win, Lance LaRose, Who You, Sam Culver, Jimmy Gomez, Poker Addicted, Cash Action Bets, Kyle Hintlian, Black Road, everybody in the chat, Abel Alvarez, Cheshire Cat, Poker Addicted. I already said Poker Addicted. Keiko MMA, everybody in the Andre. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us.
Oh,
We
yeah.
appreciate that. A great amount of turnout on a Sunday. It's Father's Day. You guys are all basically freaking ditching your dads here on a Sunday morning to be with us. We appreciate that on this Father's Day. Good stuff there. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Milwaukee and Colorado next game. Eric Lauer, the lefty for the Brewers. Chichi Gonzalez for the Colorado Rockies. We had a couple of Cy Young candidates here in this game. I'm being facetious, of course. Milwaukee minus 135, minus 140. Road favorites here in this game. Total 11.5 up to 12. I'm not scared of these 12s. A lot of these games that are this high, like most of the Rocky home games, the totals are like 10, 10.5, sometimes 11. Sometimes when it gets to 12, you're thinking, whoa, this is really too high. And I find the 12, 12.5s at Coors Field go over more often than the 10.5s and 11s do. I find when they set the total even higher at Coors, those are the games that really go over. This is going over the total, I think. I don't trust Lauer in this ballpark against this lineup, which hits much better at home. He's got a terrible track. If you go back and look at his track record against Colorado and Coors Field, it's brutal. He's got like a 9 ERA in his career at Coors Field. Eric Lauer, he stinks. He's no good. We cashed against him last time out when he pitched for the Brewers in his last start. I think he's going to be in for a tough day. But Chichi's not, I don't think, going to shut down this Brewers team. I don't trust him either in his 5 ERA. He's actually pitched well in this ballpark. It's crazy, but he's actually got a decent home ERA this season. But I think, he got roughed up by the Marlins recently, So to me, that doesn't bode well for him. Milwaukee is starting to get the sticks going in their last few games here. So that's a good sign for them. I think we're going to get a lot of runs here. The wind's not blowing out. That's the one thing you don't have that going for you. It's left to right instead of blowing out. But still, it's going to be a warm afternoon, mid-80 temperatures Fahrenheit in Denver at Coors Field for this game. So it's high. It's 12. I get it. But I'm going over the total. Last time I went over 12, it was San Diego, Colorado earlier this week, and it went over the total. So I'm going back to that over 12 here with Milwaukee, Colorado. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, I think some runs are scored here. Lauer just seems to give up one. He has one bad inning where he just gives up 4 or 5
and it's
runs.
A really bad inning, though. Yeah,
and that's not good here. I mean, Chichi can do the same. He's better at home. I see runs. The Rockies team total over 5.5 plus 107. I mean, these guys. Blackman has just ripped Lauer. 11 for 18 with 2 homers. Trevor Story 7 for 14 with 2 homers. A couple jacks of the day guys that just rip him. So, and I lean the Rockies. You got to bet put your money on Chichi, but at plus 125 at home, I think there's a value on the Rockies.
I'm with you on that with Colorado. I think I might actually bet. You might think, are you crazy to bet Chichi? But they're actually 2-1 at home with him. He's 2-0, 3.62 ERA at home. And to me, that's worth a look. I mean, the Brewers are only 1-4 in Eric Lauer's 5 starts, and 0-3 in the last 3. 0-1 on the road.
Yep.
And yet this team's laying at the price they're laying here on the road, which, and Colorado, we know, is a completely different team at home. You can actually bet this team with some semblance of confidence, Colorado, when they're at home. The road's a different story, but at home, I should have said the road's a different Trevor story, but nevertheless. There we go. But he actually is a different Trevor Story on the road. That's true. He doesn't hit as well on the road, I find, like the whole team. But look at this. Look at the difference. This team is 5-27 on the road, which is embarrassing. They're 25-15 at home. They're 10 games above 500 at home, this Rockies team. So and they're decent home pooches here in this game this afternoon. So I absolutely think the Colorado side is worth a look as well. Plus the over. The over I like even more in this game. Philadelphia, San Francisco, Zach Eflin, Sammy long. San Francisco. That's an old song.
Wow, busting out of the new one there.
Minus 135 for the San Francisco Giants. 8 the total in this game. Sammy Long is one of the very coveted prospects in this organization. So we'll see how he fares here. He looks like he's going to get the start here for the Giants today. First career start. He's yet to face the Phillies. We'll see how he goes here in this one. He's basically tossed 9 innings in 2 relief appearances for San Francisco this year. Zach Eflin on the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies. 3.99 ERA this season, 3.82 ERA in his career versus the San Francisco Giants coming into this start. San Francisco, by the way, a rare loss for them at home yesterday. They lose to the Phillies. Bullpen and Alex Wood was not good. Yesterday for the San Francisco Giants in that game. But I can't get away from Eflin's ERA, which is not good on the road. I mean, 5.71 ERA on the road. The Phillies are just 1-6 in his 7 road starts this season. So I would only look to San Francisco here, maybe a first 5 minus a half a run and full game split here in this one. But, they're now being priced better than they were yesterday. That was a bargain yesterday, and even the day before it was a bargain to back San Francisco. Now they're being priced a little bit better, with more respect. So lean San Francisco, but I may not get. Maybe I'll do Giant team total over. That's safe because Long, we don't know how he's going to pitch. He's got some upside. We don't know how long, but we don't know how long he's going to pitch. And the bullpen was used a lot yesterday for San Francisco. So I think the best way I would approach this is Giants team total over because I do think they can hit Eflin a little bit. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, and I don't have their team total up. 3.5. I only have the Phillies. I think that's a good look. I like the Giants first 5, a half a run. You get it probably at plus money here. I just don't trust Eflin, and he's got bad numbers against these Giants that have just hit him pretty hard. Posey 4 for 13, Crawford 4 for 13, Belt 3 for 9, home run. Crawford's got 2 home runs. Eflin on the road, I'm fade him. I'm going to go back to the Giants today after they got their ass kicked yesterday. And there could be runs, maybe. We'll see what Long does. But I'm just going to, after a bad loss, I think they bounce back. Give me him first 5, half a run here.
All right, like in the Giants here, first 5 minus a half a run in this game. Looks like we've got Puzzler in the chat updating us on the Marlins lineup situation. Duvall and Aguilar are in. What about Marte, though? What about Marte? I'm going to look that up myself right now. Yeah, Marte's in. I think it's the same lineup they had yesterday, pretty much. So now I'm more interested in the Marlins team total over. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I don't know about the money line because I'm a little bit sketchy on Zach Thompson, but definitely Marlins team total over. I'm interested in that for sure. Now that's a full lineup: Chisholm, Marte, Aguilar, Duvall, who had a couple of bombs yesterday, Rojas, Sanchez, Alfaro, Birdie. That's pretty much their A lineup right there. So good stuff. Way to go, Mattingly. He's going for the kill. He wants a sweep here in Windy City at Wrigley today. So we'll see if his team delivers it for him. Detroit, LA Angels, Casey Mize, Dylan Bundy, pitching matchup here. Angels minus 160. Home favorites here, 9.5 the total. You know what I'm doing here. You know what we've been talking about with Casey Mize now for several games. He's been steady. He's been solid. He's been value laden on the mound when you're getting good prices with him when he pitches. Give me Detroit here. First 5, full game. Probably a little more on the first 5 because of just, Mize against Bundy. You're going to give me this price with Mize and the Tigers, especially in the first 5. They can't pass it up opportunity for me. He continues to be rock solid for the Tigers here going into this game. We'll see how he labored a little against Kansas City in that last start. Was on the ropes a little bit, but settled down. 3 runs, 7 hits, 6.2 innings. The Tigers won that game. He has given up 3 runs or less now in 9 straight starts. That is what I call consistency from Casey Mize. Bundy, on the other hand, he didn't get out of the 3rd inning in his last start against Oakland. 7 runs.
He's minus 160.
1 innings, and he's minus 160. The Angels are only 2-5 in his last 7 starts. At home this year, he has a 7 ERA. The Angels are only 3-3 in his 6. I don't know. That's pretty amazing. They're 3-3 in his 6 home starts when he has a 7 ERA at home. That tells you they've given him some run support. So to me, this is Tigers first 5, Tigers full game split. And even though Mize is good, and that's what worries me about betting the over in this game. What did I say yesterday? It was Tigers Angels over, my best bet on yesterday's show, which was a winner. What did I say about it, though? When the team is on an over streak, I ride the streak until it comes to an end. That's now 9 straight overs for the LA Angels. I'm sticking with it, even with Mize, and I respect Mize. I like the way he's pitching. but I'm sticking right with the over in this game today. 9 straight overs for the Angels. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm back on it again here, over 9.5. Tigers and Angels, as well as Detroit first 5 in full game. What do you think, Connor? Tigers, Angels.
Yeah, I've been all over the Angels and the over in these first few, and my favorite day of the week to fade my guy Al Bundy. 1-7, almost 70 ERA. We've been on Casey Mize with you the last few starts, his last 2 or 3. I'll split it. I'll do first 5 because I want Bundy. I want the bullpen of the Angels. That's bad as well. And how can you not lean over 9.5? I think there still could be runs. Like Bundy's ERA is horrible. Angels have been playing well and hitting well without Mike Trout, without these injuries. So I'd lean over as well.
This lineup, again, I've said it a million times. This lineup deserves so much credit. Justin Upton, Shohei Ohtani, Rendon, Walsh, Fletcher, Lagares, Max Stassi, Iglesias. I mean, these guys are getting it done right now for the LA Angels. They've been able to hit without Mike Trout these last few weeks, no question. Tampa Bay, Seattle, McClanahan, and Marco Gonzalez, the pitching matchup in this one. We've got the surging Seattle Mariners here getting the job done right now. They are currently Tampa Bay, I should say, is currently minus 150, 55 road favorites, 8 the total in this game. Very interesting matchup here, battle of lefties. Marco Gonzalez is probably the one guy in the Seattle rotation right now I'm a little bit fearful of. Not exactly someone I trust game in and game out. He's had an up and down, mediocre season, 5.44 ERA for him coming into this start. He's done well against the Rays, though. 3-0 with a 2.84 ERA against the Tampa Bay Rays. And when you look at Gonzalez coming into today's game, he actually didn't pitch terribly his last start against Minnesota. 3 runs, 8 hits, 5 innings, but did tightrope walk his way out of trouble quite a bit in that game. I still don't necessarily trust him fully. McClanahan, he's kind of been roughed up a little bit lately as well. He's struggled. He's given up 10 runs in his last 11 innings, so it's been a bit of a downward trajectory for Shane McClanahan in the last few starts here for the Tampa Bay Rays. That's a little bit concerning as well. Last 10 games against lefties, Tampa Bay still not hitting them. Seattle is. Marco Gonzalez, man, I have a hard time backing him, but I've got to lean Seattle here. This price is just Rays are cooling off. They're not hitting lefties. The Mariners are actually hitting lefties their last few games, and McClanahan is, taken a bit of a downward spin lately. So I lean Seattle. I don't know if I'll pull the trigger because you got a good Tampa team looking to avoid a sweep after Seattle won the first 2 games, but I do lean Seattle at this price. First 5 in full game. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, it's tough. What Gonzalez are you going to get? And kind of what McClanahan are you going to get? He did all right. He settled down in his last start against the White Sox, but he still gave up 3 runs. It's a difficult spot. I think I'm going to stay off. I could see the Rays bouncing back, and I could see these pitchers pitching well. The lineup, they've hit the last few days. So I'm a little leery, but I kind of look towards the first 5 under 4.5 here. I think both these pitchers could pitch well early.
All right, we have the Reds and the Padres. Luis Castillo, Danielson, Lamet on the mound here. We've got the Padres minus 150, home favorites here, 8 the total in this game. Are we buying into a turnaround for Luis Castillo? Is this signs of a turnaround for him? Because I will admit, the last 3 starts, 1 run, 6 innings against St. Louis, 3 runs and 5.2 innings against Milwaukee, shutting them out in 7 innings against that same Milwaukee team in his last start. So he has been better. He has turned things around here, but you got a slumping Reds team. Isn't it funny coming into this series? Cincinnati was on fire. San Diego was scuffling. And now all of a sudden in this series, San Diego's won the first 3 and they're looking to complete the 4-game sweep today against Cincinnati. So I just don't have a good feel for this. I mean, I know the moment I get on this Castillo train and start to buy into it, drink the Kool-Aid that he's getting it back again, he's going to probably stink. That's just the way sometimes it works. So I worry about that here. I know he is rounding into form. He is pitching a little bit better in his last few starts, but we'll have to see how he fares here against the Padres. You look at the past for Castillo against the Padres. Eric Hosmer's crushed him. So has Will Myers, but he has held Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado in check. So it's been a mixed bag for Castillo against the Padres in the past.
Yeah.
Nobody's done anything against Danielson Lamet. I mean, he has shut down the Reds in the past. We'll see how he fares here. He's been a season hampered by injuries. He does have a 3.21 ERA at home, but he's 0-3 in his 3 home starts this year. Good numbers during the day. I think the one thing that stands out, Connor, sometimes you got to look at day-night splits on a Sunday. Lamet's 2.25 ERA during day games this year. Castillo a 6.19 ERA during day games this year. So that's concerning a bit. Look, San Diego's hot and Cincinnati's struggling in this series. We mentioned the crowds. The crowd being back at Petco Park, full capacity, it's made a difference. It's like a playoff environment there this weekend. So I don't have a rush to bet against San Diego right now. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah. What pitchers are going to show up here? Castillo all of a sudden is thrown well his last few. Lamet, you haven't really trusted him since he's come back. He just hasn't looked the same. I lean towards maybe the over. I've had a tough time with the Padres, though. I know they're starting to hit. I was looking at their team total over 4.5 plus 107, but they've failed me a few times this year. So I know if I take him, Castillo might pitch a hell of a game. It's a stay away for me here.
All right, next up, we've got the LA Dodgers against previously it was the will they ever win a road game again, Arizona Diamondbacks. Now it's the will they ever win a game again, Arizona Diamondbacks at this point. Unbelievable fall from that, absolute tailspin for them. We'll see how they fare here. We got Gonsolin on the mound for the Dodgers this afternoon. Alex Young, the lefty for Arizona. Dodgers here in that pretty sizable road favorite range here, right around minus. It looks like it looks like minus 190. Total 9.5 here in this one. Gonsolin really could have been ripped in that start against the Phillies earlier this week. He made this will be his third straight start. They had him on the ropes. The Phillies stranded, the bases loaded. Then he kind of settled down after that. So we'll have to wait and see. But he's still not a guy I'm rushing to back here. But I cannot and will not back Arizona under no circumstances whatsoever. Young will make his second spot start here for the Diamondbacks. Pitched out of the bullpen earlier this season. 3.86 ERA, 5 ERA against the Dodgers in his career. I think this game goes over the total, over 9.5. I think Arizona could do something against Gonsolin. It's going to be mostly a bullpen day for the Dodgers after that. And on the flip side, look, Alex Young is a lefty. We know the Dodgers sometimes have issues, but Alex Young's really struggled in the past against the Dodgers lineup. The numbers kind of bear that out. Chris Taylor's hit him. A.J. Pollock's hit him. A couple others have as well. And, of course, you got a dumpster fire bullpen behind him. So I think we could get over 9.5 here in this game. What's your thoughts, Connor? Dodgers, D-backs.
Yeah, I'll just tell you, this is my best bet. I already bet it. It's a bullpen day for both teams. I already took the over 9.5. We'll see how Gonsolin goes. Young might go 3 or 4. And a few guys, like you mentioned, Pollock, Taylor, they've hit him. There should be runs. And D-backs could score, too. Escobar has got good numbers against Gonsolin. 3 for 9 with 2 homers. A little jack of the day for Eduardo Escobar. So I think the D-backs could score. The Dodgers could score. I think we get over 9. Now at 9.5, minus 105, I still think's good. So over here.
All right, next up, we've got the final game of this Sunday card, Sunday Night Baseball. It's the second game of the doubleheader between the Cardinals and Braves. Kwang Hyun Kim, Drew Smyly, a couple of lefties on the mound in this one. We've got the Braves minus 120 home favorites, 7.5 the total in this one. This game has given me a headache because Cardinals, when their lineup is on, they can hit lefties and they should hit Drew Smyly. But are they going to hit today? We have seen them shut down by any and all pitchers, including lefties, the last week or so. So that's the tricky part. Kwang Hyun Kim, decent, but walks have hurt him a little bit. And Atlanta's been really hitting well against lefties as of late. Early in the season, they weren't. Early in the season, they were one of the worst teams in baseball against lefties. But they have been better as of late. Cooled down a little. We'll see if it continues here. But right now, I mean, you look at St. Louis right now, it's just been awful. The Braves, look at the difference in lefty production. Braves last 10 games, 4.4 runs per game against lefties. The Cardinals 1.77 runs per game against lefties. So, but I can't lay a price with Smiley. I'm just not a Drew Smiley guy. So the numbers say Atlanta has been more productive against lefties, but it's Drew Smiley laying a short price. I'm not interested. So it's probably going to be a game I stay off. Could it go over the total? Yes, I could see that. Not tonight, maybe a lean over 7.5 for me. But again, that's contingent upon seeing some kind of life from the Cardinals lineup. And I'm going to have to see it first before I can believe it. So that's the way I'm going with this. Conor Mac, we have lost him. It looks like he has technical issues, technical difficulties. We'll see if we can get him back for the end of the show for Best Bets and Jack of the Day, which is coming up in just a second. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Over 200 live views on a Sunday, on Father's Day, no less. We really do appreciate that. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us out quite a bit. So again, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hope you're getting some great betting insight on the baseball card here on the MLB Closing Time Show. We'll get to Best Bets and Jack of the Day in just a second. Before we do that, though, we'll pause for some messages from Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101, when you are in San Antonio, Texas, check them out. Live music, DJs, karaoke, have a bite to eat, have a couple of pints. Southtown 101. Manscaped, promo code PubSports, 20% off Lawnmower 4.0. I'm seeing commercials on it for it on television now, too. They're just raving about this new product. It can take care of you all over your body. So get it. Lawnmower 4.0, 20% off with the promo code PubSports over at Manscaped. And MyBookie.ag, promo code PubSports. We've got we've got NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, MLB daily, football in 2 months. U.S. Open golf wraps up today. We've got another major, obviously next month, the Open Championship. By the way, Mackenzie Hughes, let's go. Get this done today for my hometown of Dundas, Ontario. He's from my town, my little town outside of Hamilton, which has like 25,000 people in it. And Mackenzie Hughes was one of those. Obviously, he's not living here anymore. You know, he's making money on the PGA Tour. He's living in the States now. But from my hometown, I am cheering big time for Mackenzie Hughes today to be U.S. Open champion. He's in the last pairing with Louis. Whoa, whoa. We got to go. Yeah. Louis Oosthuizen.
Louis,
in the
50 to 1. I got 50 to 1. Just $10, but yep. It's just $10.
I like Louis to win, to be honest. I'm hoping Mackenzie does, but this is going to be a test of his nerves today. This final round at the U.S. He's never been in this kind of spotlight before, so we'll see if he's able to handle it. So definitely, absolutely excited to see how this turns out today. But anyway, mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports, Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. Mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. All right. It is time for Best Bets and Jack of the Day. So let's start with the Jack of the Day.
Well, see you later.
Time for this Sunday MLB card. There are a couple that stand out. I go a little lighter on Jack of the Day on a Sunday because it's usually a lower scoring day. But I'm interested in a couple of guys here today. I'm looking at when I look at the card here. Cedric Mullins, I'm on him, regardless of Ryu and what he does. You just got to take him home run prop total basis because you just can't get the guy out right now. He's absolutely on fire for the Baltimore Orioles at this point in time. I'm on JD Martinez against Mike Minor. to hit a home run. I think that's one that's definitely worth a look in this game. And again, I can't go wrong with some of those Rockies against the, Eric Lauer that Conor Mac mentioned. I think that's something to look at as well. You've got Hosmer and Myers have hit one against Castillo, and Castillo's still sometimes prone to the home run ball. So those are some of the ones I would look at there. A couple of those Reds, a couple of those Rockies, Cedric Mullins and JD Martinez for Jack of the Day. Connor, how about you?
Yep, JD Martinez, those Rockies, and Escobar, my Jack of the Day.
Good stuff, Connor. I think you already said your best bet, Dodgers, Diamondbacks
Yep.
over, but you can reiterate it.
That's it. Dodgers, D-backs, over 9.5. Get it.
All right, Dodgers, Diamondbacks over 9.5. Best bet here for Conor Mac on this Sunday card. Best bet for me is going to be, look, I think it's a cheap price. Nate Eovaldi was excellent in his last start. Give me Boston here, minus 125. A full game against the Kansas City Royals. I just think they're the better baseball team, better pitcher, more trustworthy. Kansas City's that just can't get out of their own way. Boston Red Sox for me, minus 125 against the Kansas City Royals. That'll be my best bet for this Sunday card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the MLB Closing Time Show. Thanks to everyone. 216 live viewers strong. We appreciate it. We will be back at 1 p.m. Eastern next hour, 10 a.m. Pacific for the NBA Pub Hub. Connor Mac, me, Ski Profit, and Dutch Boy Fresh will recap last night's crazy Game 7 thriller in overtime, won by the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll let Dutch have his due. He'll be able to, pat himself on the back for being right about the Milwaukee Bucks last night. But we'll give him his moment on the show, and we'll also talk Game 1, Suns Clippers Western Conference Final, as well as Game 7, Sixers Hawks on the show today. So make sure you tune in next hour for the NBA Pub Hub. For Connor Mac, I'm Ian Cameron. We'll see you in an hour for the NBA Pub Hub right here on Pub Sports Radio.